few college football coaching hires over the last week or so, and then we're going to jump into our topic of today's video. UCLA finally cleared to move to the Big Ten starting in 2024. So let's hop right on to it. Let's talk about the future coaching hires that y'all may know of, and for some people may or may not know of. So let's talk about the most recent one. Um, Tom Herman will take over at FAU for the departing Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart was fired from his second state of Florida job in the last 4 years. Tom Herman has a lot of successful. He has some. He was known for his successful stints at Ohio State. His, he had an okay stint at Texas, and then before that, he had Houston. So congratulations to Tom Herman. Tom Herman was one time an up and coming name in the coaching ranks, and he landed a place with a history of taking Power Five retrieves. When you combine his stints at Houston and Texas, Herman's track record checks out fine. He could win big at FAU. That was a journalist talk about the hire for Tom Herman at FAU. Then we're going to talk about another hire. We're going to talk about Jamie Chadwell, the former Coastal Carolina coach. Over the last couple of years, have brought Coastal Carolina to national prominence. He leaves the Chanticleers to now coach at Liberty. He'll take over for Hugh Freeze after Hugh Freeze left Liberty to go coach at Auburn. Chadwell led the Coastal Carolina to national spotlight with back-to-back 11-win seasons in 2020 and 2021. His offensive success will play well at a Liberty program that emerged as an offensive threat under Hugh Freeze. Simply put, he will slide right in and continue the program's rise and transfer transitions now into Conference USA. Congratulations to Jamie Chadwell as he's the new head man at at Liberty. Chadwell's replacement will be Tim Beck. Tim Beck was the offensive coordinator at NC State last year. He will take over the Chanticleers as Chadwell left to go coach at Liberty. This is Tim Beck's first crack at a head coaching job. As he took over the Chanticleers program that established a traditional offensive success under Jamie Chadwell. None of Beck's three Wolfpack offenses finished in the top half of the ACC, and two of his three offenses at Texas finished in the bottom half of the Big 12. This hire doesn't make any sense. So Tim Beck has a lot of work to do if he wants to make a household name of continued offensive success at Coastal Carolina, where his previous success was really mediocre at best. So hopefully Tim Beck can turn his coaching career around at a very successful Chanticleers program at Coastal Carolina. We're going to talk about Luke Fickell's replacement. Luke Fickell um, recently stepped down to take another job. And Scott Satterfield, the former Louisville head coach, takes over at Cincinnati in over for Luke Fickell. Satterfield was 25 and 24 in four seasons at Louisville and was unable to elevate the program into ACC contention. However, he was a superstar at App State from 2013 to 2018 that led transition from the FCS to the FBS program. That experience will help Cincinnati transition to the Big 12, but his lack of success at the Power 5 level is very concerning. So, for those who know Scott Satterfield, he was a coach for Malik Cunningham the last three or 4 years at Louisville. At best, he was an average coach at best in the ACC. Hopefully, he'll turn it around at Cincinnati, where they're now converting from the American Conference to the Big 12. So, good luck to Scott Satterfield and the Cincinnati program. A few more coaches we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Scott Satterfield replacement at Louisville with a familiar face. Jeff Brom, the former quarterback at Louisville, will come back home to help coach the Louisville Cardinals in the future. Brom led Purdue to multiple bowl games across 6 years with the Big Ten West title of this past season. His fielded electric offenses his arrival serves as a homecoming moment for the Louisville native, former quarterback and assistant coach for the Cardinals, long coveted by the fan base, and now finally home. Brom is an excellent Louisville hire. So hopefully, with his success in molding Purdue into a pretty solid Big Ten program, got them their first conference championship in a very long time this past season, competed in the Big Ten championship game. Hopefully, that brings success back to Louisville, which they much needed. They haven't had any kind of success since Lamar Jackson left. So congratulations to Jeff Brom going home to coach his alma mater. Another team, another coach. We'll talk one more coach, and we're going to talk about the man himself, Hugh Freeze, going to take over at Auburn for Brian Harsin. Cadillac Wiz was the interim coach during Harsin's departure. Huge pickup for Auburn. I think offensively they're going to be better than ever now that offensive mind Hugh Freeze is coming in. He had success in the SEC with Ole Miss, so hopefully the offensive mind of Hugh Freeze will bring Auburn back to national prominence, which they haven't had since Gus Malzahn was terminated. So that's a few head coaching hires that recently happened, or for those who don't know, for those who probably do know. So let's talk about today's topic of today's video. We're going to talk about UCLA making that jump to the Big Ten. We know it's been speculated for the last several months. We've been waiting for the thought to be cleared by the University of California Regents. And as of yesterday afternoon, it is official. UCLA will join the Big Ten after a meeting yesterday. It was cleared by the University of California Regents to officially move to the Big Ten starting in 2024. It's a very big move for UCLA to now go to a very prominent conference in the Big Ten. UCLA is going to be the first Pac-12 team to transfer to the Big Ten. We don't know about USC's situation with the Big Ten. We're going to read you a letter from we're going to read you a letter from Nicole Allback, who heard about the meeting. She writes this: the UC Regents meeting is over, and UCLA is officially headed to the Big Ten, and will spend some money to make sure the Bruins athletics have support for travel, academics, nutrition, etc. UCLA will also end up paying California between $2 to $10 million for leaving the Pac-12 without taking with them to the Big Ten. So it's a penalty, unfortunately, for leaving the conference and not taking their in-state rival with them. So despite that, it's a great move for UCLA. Also a branding. Hopefully they can compete in the Big Ten. They're going to face teams like Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, and hopefully Michigan State turning around in the next for the next upcoming future. So congratulations on UCLA making that move. They're going to have to pay some money out to California for making the jump. But I think with all due respect to California, I think it was a good move for UCLA by itself to make the jump. I mean, you don't bring California with you. I mean, $2 million will hurt, and I don't think $10 million will hurt because the money you get back down the Big Ten, the bigger market, you get that money back and then some. So kudos to the Big Ten on making the move and acquiring UCLA. We're gonna read a comment from Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren. The Big Ten is grateful to University of California Board of Regents for respecting the decision of the University of California Los Angeles, or UCLA for short, to join our conference in 2024. The landscape of the collegiate athletics is evolving, and the Big Ten Conference is in a position of stability and strength with unmatched opportunities, exposure, and resources for our member institutions and student athletes. With the collective goals of prioritizing the health and well-being of our student athletes and for our academic and athletic missions under the umbrella of higher education, we will continue our methodical interrogation process of UCLA and USC into the Big Ten Conference. So I'm assuming USC will eventually join the Big Ten. Still, the Big Ten will start to do investigations of both schools before they officially become a member in 2024. I think it's good for both schools to go to a bigger market, the Big Ten, compete on a bigger stage, a national stage, and hopefully bring some Big Ten championships coming their way to both schools. I hope both schools do very well in the Big Ten and don't flop like how Colorado flopped from the Big 12 to the Pac-12. Hopefully we'll see how that goes. We'll keep an eye on UCLA and USC over the next several years in the Big Ten. Also, Texas and Oklahoma when it comes to the SEC in 2024. So that was it for today's video, man, guys. Hopefully y'all like today's video. Hit the subscribe button now if you're new. I'm out, guys. Y'all have a blessed and safe weekend and happy Thursday.